All right. Well, thanks to Sean Banasic, I figured out, I figured out that it wasn't anything I was doing with any of the settings or anything about the index or anything like that. The reason, because I finally got smart and went back and looked at some things in Firefox and realized that the reason it stopped working, because literally I ran it and then Firefox did an automatic update. And in that update, there were changes to the privacy settings, all security based. So I emailed Sean, and this is Sean's response. Yay, Sean is awesome. And so here is what the change basically looks like. By the way, if you don't ever use the snipping tool in Windows, it is super duper awesome. It's very easy to use. It just comes with the Windows operating system. So this is what it looks like when you go into the Firefox and put in about :config. You go through and say yes, you're willing to take the risk. You put in unique, and then this privacy file unique origin comes up and it says true. You double click it, change it to false. All is right with the world, and ta-da! It's working. So I will probably pause this, but I want you to see that it's working just fine. And I can do all my sorting in HtmlQ. So I'm going to do this to make sure that I'm just going to grab things. I'm just going to do this and make sure that it actually is working. My question section is working, which is how I made a few changes and then, went to run it and it didn't work anymore, which is much of video 2 on YouTube. So this should be a better video because here everything will work. And in fact, while I'm doing this, I will pause, but I will remind you that in the settings, if you're just starting here, right, the statements, it's already basically set up for you, and all you really need to do is keep going with the general setup. So I think there are maybe 5 statements in the original downloaded zip file for Easy HtmlQ, which you have to take that folder out of the zip file and put it on your desktop or on your C drive or somewhere. And so here I just copied and pasted out of my Excel spreadsheet the text, and then I just kept going with this general format of statement ID equals 11, right? And then each one has to end with these specific, right, pointy parentheses with the backslash before statement, right? There is no such thing as close enough for government work in programming of any kind ever. And so this is generally what it looks like. It must end, so this is 36, because I have 36 statements. It must end with the same pointy brackets backslash statements with an S, right? It's already set up that way. Again, all you're doing is copying paste. And then in the map is where you have the grid. And in here, right, it gives you a general setup of what it would look like if you had +1 to -1. And all we have to do is mine goes from -5 to +5. This maintains the colors so that this is white, right? And this is, I think it's pink, and this is green, or vice versa. I should know these codes, but I can't ever remember. Again, right, these here are the number of places within the sorting grid, and I'll kind of fast forward a little bit for that. Language is where we have all of our questions. Again, it's about just maintaining that same general structure. And in here, oh, this must not be, I didn't change these, right? So this is a tip. So there's not signing in, right? And this is being a college student, really only interested in college student. And it won't show up in my, because it's already running. And then it's the piles and agree to disagree. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Right? And so we have, right, everything seems to be working. Here I had changed this because I was trying desperately to figure out what in the world was going on wrong with my system before I figured it was me, before I figured out that it was actually Firefox. Right, so, and we can just, you always have to remember to save it. And I'm not too worried about general changes right now, but even though these will be the files we upload into our system. So here again, right, there are some options. I have gender, male, female, yes, no, I'm a college student, and then what level they are, what general field they are in. I didn't make any of them mandatory, I guess. And then here, right, in case they want to email it to you, right, I had changed this because I was desperately trying to figure out what was wrong. And then we'll save. And, right, and of course, right, we put some things in here that came from our system. And here, I can open this just clicking on it, and then I've been using Notepad. This API key and these things all just came right from the instructions within Firefox, or Fire, whatever it's called. Fire. Many fires. Firebase account. So that just comes from going in here, right? You go in, you create a project, you name your project, you go to database, you make it a web app because they're going to do it on the web. You go to rules, and then in rules, we change these things. We'll make sure that that works. Right? And then we go back to our project, go to the web. It looks slightly different than this right now. And then go into the config, which you just click on the project, and then you have the option, it says configure something else, and we just copy and paste those things using Control-C, right? And then put them into the JavaScript file, which is the JS file. And right now we are doing this right where we're test driving. We're going to make sure that it actually lets us submit our data, because that's how I ended up having to change a few things before, right? Because it wouldn't let me submit, and then I realized that when I did database, I needed to do a specific database. So, just further proof that I'm not good at following instructions, like most physicists, it seems. I noticed that these aren't in order because I selected that they should be shuffled in, I think that was the config file, which is good, right? Certainly if you left things in a specific, if you left them in an order, right? Like 1 through 5 was learning and something else. All right, now we're going to do this. So I'm just going to pause this for a second. But you see the colors, right? So this is gray, this is green, this is pink. And then if you look at these, they're also color coded. You could change the colors, but I don't feel like messing around with that, so I'm not. So here I gotta find my little, yay. And I'm just gonna pause and then I'll be back. So here we are. I have randomly placed things into my sorting grid. Right, so agree to disagree. I wish it said most agree to most disagree. But that's okay. At this point, if you wanted to, you could actually have people go in and just do a grab using something like the snipping tool. Ta-da! And email that to you. That would make it, right, the old-fashioned way of inputting the data into, say, PQ method, as long as you don't have a Mac that's updated to the 64-bit only programs, but that would certainly be an option. So hopefully now we're going to hit continue, and and then we hit continue again. We want to explain some things, and a little better than doing it paper. Don't have to remember to tell them to hold on to those statements that were most agree, most disagree, right? So I'm just going to type stuff that doesn't make sense. And then hit continue. And I have to still change that. Is there anything else you would like to add? Because that's not what I wanted to have them add something about, right? More about their sorting. So I could, while we're in here, and I can go into settings, right? So that was in language, I believe. So I can just go down and it must be in the config one. It is kind of weird that it does that. So this is the gender, so this is the next. So it must have been in the language. Oh, you know, after a while all this looks the same. La la la. Yes. So here I'm going to change this text. It's registered, and it skips the code. There we go. There's the statements. Here we go. Please explain your most agree and most disagree. And let's see. I might be able to just copy in that, but for right now, Right, I'm going to put and yeah, I just don't feel very adventuresome at this moment. So we'll just save that for now. I might go through and double check some of these things, right? So yeah, so 1980, not my birthday. Yes. Right. So drop down. Oh, here's some comments. So this would probably be the easiest place to ask them to comment on their sorting since it happens afterwards, right? And so again, that was in the, oops. That was just in the config file. All right, so we can come down here. Picture major comments, and so I could change this to about. And now it'll just like let them do that. That'll be helpful. And now I can come over here because I still have to figure out, right? So, and then hit continue. Yay, submit your data. Let's hope this works this time. And, well, it didn't say it didn't work. Well, that could potentially be problematic. So we're going to pause and I'm going to go see if it actually appeared in the database since it didn't act like it did. All right, I made some changes and then I was getting that weird error thing. But good news, right? If you go into the Firefox tab and put in file colon, then 3 backslashes, C colon, backslash, what it'll do is it'll allow you to basically go into Windows Management System and just select your file, and that worked okay. You could probably drag and drop it also into Firefox. I have no idea why that is. Shouldn't really be. And I may have changed so many things now that's slightly different than what it was. But I'm going to pause this. I'm going to make sure that it actually gets submitted because that was a problem earlier. It didn't go to the database, and it may be that I just changed so many things that, you know. So I'll be back. All right, this is about where we left off. I've done some tweaking and run this so many times. Having fun sorting, not really. I just randomly placed them all. But I've tweaked some of the things for like questions. I moved gender and changed it to sex, and I believe I gave them the option to refuse to answer male, female. So, and I also changed this so it doesn't say tip. You don't have to have this, right? Just telling them again that they could rearrange things if they so desire, right? And there's the pop-up of answering this question, right? So we put in some garbage. I could actually type something fast, but I don't want to. Right. And continue. And now this pops up and it says the right thing. Oh, good, it says refuse. So now, right, put in the year. They could refuse to answer the question about male, female. Thought that seemed appropriate, right? So yes, and say sophomore, right? Pick my major, right? Say anything I want to about my experience. So right now, the only thing that's marked that's mandatory is sex. Don't know why that is. It's just the way it's set up, and I don't care that much to change it. And now we can submit our data. And ta-da, it actually works, right? And so now we can go over into here, and we can see there are the 3 times I have submitted. They're all here, right? I can click on it, and it should give me, there we go, my crazy comments, and then, right, this is just what it happens to look like. And so now I'm going to go back over, go back over here. I can get rid of these just by clicking on the X. Yeah, so I'm going to delete them because they're just garbagey, crazy stuff I put in. But the good news is that it's working. Yay. And so now we're ready to move to the next stage in our awesome instructions. So there we are. That's just what it looked like, right? And now we are ready to go, right, into our, whoops, whoa, I don't know what I just did. Here we go. So, oh, here we don't need it at 110, and I can't see. So there are a number of options available. Sean uses Netlify in this guide, so we'll do that. Right? So let's learn how to do that. So using NetFly to host your files, we have to create a Netlify account and go from there. So that said, right, I'm going to go do that, and I'm going to pause it, and we'll rejoin in a minute. All right, so basically I went in and I signed up with email. You shouldn't sign up with other things. It's just not secure, especially Facebook or Google, unless it's a Google company already, like we did for the other Fire thing. So here it says add new project, but it doesn't look quite like that. Really, it looks a little bit more like this, right? And so, ta-da! And so I'm going to go over here. This is, I have multiples of these. We need to take the entire easy HtmlQ master, right? And I'm going to, whoops, I have a crazy mouse. So sometimes it's not a good mouse. It's been broken since I got it. So I'm going to put everything there. And we're going to wait for it all to upload. Right, so we'll go and look at our little instructions, and says that, right? Wait for Netlify to deploy your files to the web. And then, right, over here, right, confirm that the files were properly published. Note that Netlify assigns a random name to your website. You can change this name to something more appropriate later. And then we'll test the website. It should look just like it did when we did our Firefox. We'll light a candle about that for sure. Right? So now we can go to, right, step 2. Seems like a natural, right? Set up domain, right? Add a custom domain to your site. You can bring a domain name that you already own or buy a new one. When you buy the domain with us, we automatically configure DNS settings and provision a wildcard. Learn more in, oh, good. I don't really have a domain. I'll have a domain. we actually all get, I have a website. I don't know that I could. All right, we're going to have to pause again, and I have to see if I can figure this here out. Hold on. All right, I read the document, right? Learn more in docs. So you can own one, right? So you can put that in, or you can do a Netlify, so your name of your site. So I picked Susie Q because, I'm sticking with the Susie Q thing. Maybe I'll put, so it looks just like, right? So there I am. I'll hit verify. Oh, I can only have one. All right, let's see. A site can only have one Netlify address. The name of your site. Do you want to change your site name instead? No, I like that one. That's the name of my site right now. That's funny. How about we'll make it Susie Q. I gotcha. All right. New channel updates to reflect the current state of your latest production deploy. I don't know what that means. I don't want to delete anything. Alright, does this mean... Oh, no, I don't want to create a new team. Alright. Alright. Build and deploy, that must be what I want to do. See, I told you I was bad about reading instructions. Your site to a Git repository. Continuous deployment works by connecting Git, keeping the two in sync. I think that's what I want to do. Let us look ahead. Yay. Oh, nope, we want to do Firebase. Nope, we want to do, what do we want to do? Currently published. Test the website. Alright, so must be, even though that isn't there. Alright, well this seems like a good place to stop anyway. I like to keep these videos around 30 minutes. So, but we're doing awesome so far. So that is very important. Maybe I can figure one more thing out before I do. Oh, it's so exciting! All I had to do was put in my Susie Q Netlify web page, and ta-da! Look it, I'm right in my automatic study. I'm so excited. So friggin' excited. So I'm going to do this, and then in our next video, we'll make sure that it has gone into our actual database, but everything is chugging along fantastically right now. I'm so excited.